The upcoming movie, Gods of Egypt, has an all-white cast, and a lot of people are pissed. So Lionsgate took to Twitter. They issued an apology. Let me read it. Quote, "We recognize that it is our responsibility to help ensure that casting decisions reflect the diversity and culture of the time periods portrayed. In this instance, we failed to live up to our standards of sensitivity and diversity, for which we sincerely apologize. Lionsgate is deeply committed to making films that reflect the diversity of our audiences. We have, can, and will continue to do better." Which sparked a tweet from our very own Ava DuVernay. She's not our very own, but we love her.
She's ours.
We wish she was ours. She's on my team. Okay, so she first tweeted, "This kind of apology never happens for something that happens all the time, an unusual occurrence worth noting." She also said, "Gods of Egypt makes me value Abrams' Star Wars choices more, makes me cheer more for Coogler's Creed. We all deserve icons in our own image." Thoughts, 5 words or less.
Do the white thing.
It's too late to apologize.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Hollywood, stop Egypt shunning other races.
Good one.
I see what you did there. I like it.
That's like when the football
I
player gets hit on the 2-yard line.
I see what she did. She slipped it in though. I like it.
Oh, I slipped it in?
Nice.
You
Yeah.
did.
You brought up, before we even started shooting this, you brought up the fact that, boom, Lionsgate straight up apologized, and that's rare for somebody to just own it.
Yeah, what a weird thing. Because it's not like they can do anything about it, but at least they were like,
But they could
"Oh,
have."
we're sorry. They
Well,
could
they're-
have. They could have
before.
It's shot and done, but it's such a weird
They
thing.
usually
Like, have
have
you ever
some,
been
like,
so mad at
half-assed
someone,
apology.
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, you did something wrong, and then they just go, "You're right. I'm
right, I'm
sorry."
sorry.
And then you don't know what to do after
Yeah.
that, because it's
I
not like
do.
they can change anything
I'm
about
still
it.
not gonna watch their movie.
No, I mean, no one is going to see this movie now. Lionsgate literally pretty much just came out and said, like, hey, we know we up, but you know, it's coming out in December. What do you say? Huh? Like, everybody makes mistakes. Like, maybe, probably not. Probably
How did
not.
they
That's
overlook
what it
that?
is.
How did they overlook that? Shauna.
This is a long-standing tradition, and it's why their apology means nothing to me. And I say this not just as an actor of color. I say this because as someone who consumes film and what's put out there, I'm just sick of the apologizing and the backpedaling and the we'll do better, and it's this kind of half-assed attempt at, oh, we'll do a diversity initiative, and it's, you know, just for a headline or whatever it is, and there's no actual meaningful change. Because the fact is, I asked right before we started, what was the name of the movie that came out like 2 years ago? That tanked about the same part of the country, no, of the world, called Exodus.
All white.
And it was
Yeah.
all white. And
Yeah,
it wasn't all
Christian
right.
Bale.
I'm like, seriously? You did this 2 years ago.
Bruce Wayne.
So the fact is, if you didn't see the error of your ways from a 2 year ago failure, and I'm not talking about like a slight failure. I mean, that movie was like, it was painful for me.
Who does it lie on? Is it the head of the studio, the producer? Who is in charge?
So the director is the one who is like, they say, like, in film, the director is God. And so that director is the one who is choosing who's playing what role in
And
their
who
film.
are the lead actors again? We've
It's
got
like Gerard Butler
Butler.
and Nikolai.
Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
The dude
guy,
from
you know,
Game of Thrones.
This guy from Game of Thrones, spoiler alert. Anyhow, but it's up
That's
to
from like
them
season
to...
1. It's not a spoiler.
It's
Yeah.
more reason. Anyways, but it's up to them to make those decisions.
Right.
But anyone who's worked in film knows that, like, the studio's breathing down your neck.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
everyone's kind of in that discussion together. The biggest tragedy of this is it just seems like it never crossed their mind.
That just
Yeah.
never occurred to them. And the thing is, there's such a long history of the whitewashing that I can't, at this, in 2015, when we've done so much and there's social media constantly talking about this and saying, do better, and you still make an executive decision to not even consider it.
Yeah.
And the fact is, every time it comes up to something, they're like, oh, we need names to sell a movie. Half of the people who are starring in this movie, people don't know by name.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's the problem.
Literally, they
And,
don't
like,
know by name.
If in
continue.
Thor, Idris Elba can play one of the Norse gods,
Yeah.
then
yeah,
you can
I mean,
put
look at
someone
Star Wars
in
with
your
J.J. Abrams.
Egyptian movie.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, for the most part, a lot of people still don't know who Michael B.
They may not
Jordan
know
is.
who he is, but
and here he
Wallace?
killed it in Creed.
And yet,
killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I worked at a film studio as an assistant. I mean, less than a year ago. And I would be listening in on these phone calls. You know, we'd have major production meetings and casting decisions. And I wouldn't be able to believe what I was hearing. There was a movie that we were casting. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but I don't really give a
Say it.
So
say
there
it.
was,
Say it.
well, there was a call about a movie that we were doing about Marines or soldiers or something. It was like 5 Marines, and it was a bunch of like studio heads and a casting director, and I don't even know. I think we had the director on the call as well, and it was this big conference call. And someone said, we're going over different names for casting. And there was a bunch of straight white dudes, like just a whole. Blah, like Joe and Dan and like all these just fucking white guys I'd never heard of before.
Impossible
and then
for
someone said, yeah, exactly, impossible for a black guy to be named Dan. And so then, someone on the line said, well, should we be looking at actors of color? Like, what do we think about an actor of color for one of these 5 Marines?
Say?
And it was just like this pause, and I remember a bunch of people like, we could look at a few names. I mean, definitely not the lead. And they're like, yeah, definitely not the lead, but like maybe like a few names. And people were throwing out names like Michael B. Jordan, and who is the one that I'm obsessed with, who's going to be Black Panther in Captain America: Civil War.
Barack Obama?
Oh, no, it's what is his name? I'm obsessed. Bozeman.
Bozeman.
Something Bozeman.
Yeah, no, that's the name.
Chadwick Boseman, is that what it is? Anyway, so it was the one guy, and he was the one guy, and he got Black Panther, and they announced it in Marvel that he was going to have this big movie coming up. And I remember going up to the person that I was assisting afterwards, and I was like, look, I really think you should consider Chadwick. Marvel believes in him, like all these people believe in him. Like I know he's not a big name now, but he's certainly bigger than some of the other guys, and I really think we should, put him in there, or like at least bring him in for like a casting tape. And I just couldn't believe that there was the hesitation about like, I don't know how we feel about him.
Did we even cover this when Matt Damon on Project Greenlight got in an argument where he said, listen, if we're going to do diversity, we do that behind the camera?
No, in front of the camera.
Not yet.
We don't have
in
to
front of the camera, but not behind the
camera.
camera.
We don't have to worry about director not realizing the trickle-down effect of having people of color in those positions almost ensures that they'll actually think about that and encourage that discourse and encourage that change in front of the camera.
And it's those moments that make me cringe.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go.
Hard,
We do.
But like, at least they were able to, like, I don't want them to have to happen. But when they do happen, I hope everyone takes the opportunity to say, listen to how ridiculous that sounds.
Yeah.
We need to change it. But in the end of it, I'm pretty sure that most people of color will be glad not to be associated with this train wreck.
And you know what? Hollywood, I'll say with a closing thought, Hollywood thinks about the bottom dollar. This will affect their dollars.
Yep.
So you know what? Maybe they'll listen now that it's affecting their pockets. So sad.
If
Final
I can
thought.
just say this one last thing, Viola Davis said it best in her acceptance speech when she said, the only thing that separates actors of color from other actors is the opportunities for the roles. That's it.
Right.
That's it. So it's, think about it the next time that you're doing these movies and actually encourage the opportunity for real diversity, meaningful diversity, not the person who hands you your coffee has one line and happens to be a black girl, or filling up your extras, quota by having so many extras where you're like, are they at like a black revival suddenly? Like where all the extras are black people, but all of your principal actors are white. I've seen it 1,000 times and I'm sick of it.
Good for you, Shauna. Amen. We all are too. You guys, please keep the conversation going. We'll talk to you guys next time. We'll talk to you. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Just hang up on the